Welcome to Gary Whiting's Equine In-Home Study Program for Horse and Human, or Horse and Rider. Okay, for the last 5 or 6 years, I've had more requests to have an equine in-home study program. I realize a lot of people cannot come into my school. They can't take off from work. That's costly. The time is a factor, and it isn't really convenient, except for the really diehards. They don't really care. So what I thought I would do is to come up with a condensed program of my school program, because isn't that what a home study is supposed to be? It's a condensed program of the school. Well, I'm not one who likes to condense. And as I started putting this program together, I started realizing, no, this is important. I need to put this into the program. And I need to put this into the program. And when I got done, I had 240 pages of material. I ended up with more material in my in-home study program than what I had in school. So now I've got to up the material in the school. So, in essence, what I'm saying is we didn't make this a chintzy program. This is a big program. I have got 9 chapters in here we're going to talk about, but I just want to kind of give you a little idea of what's in it. It's got a lot of colored pictures in here. Got articles I've written in the article chapter, and each chapter is kind of highlighted with my 2 horses, Orn and Ari. There's a story on these 2 horses. That's Orn, that's Ari. When you put them together, they're ornery. And when you look at my website, the minute-and-a-half animated video, you'll see why they're called ornery, because they didn't pay their bills after I fixed them. So Orn and Ari are going to take you through each one of these chapters and give you a little howdy as to what it's going to be about. We got horse with dots all over it. That's going to be acupressure points. We got muscle charts in here. We've got equine performance. We've got, again, talking about the foot of the horse, the barefoot. Alternative to a barefoot or a shoed horse, a metal shoed horse. So we have a really good chapter on the horse's foot. As the old saying goes, no foot, no horse. So there it is in chapter 3 is your hoof care. And then we got pictures of my friend, one of my best students, Yvonne Allen. She's in this book. She's showing how to do the different stretching techniques that are in your chapter. And we cover the killing fields, the mineral deficient healthcare system. We have nutrition in here here's human nutrition. For example, iodine, its function. We give you, let's say your doctor tells you you're low on iodine, and most of us are today, in case you didn't know that. So we've got iodine. It tells you what the function of iodine is, and it tells you the natural sources. So it says the best dietary source of iodine are kelp, dulse, and other seaweed available in form tablets. Good sources are Swiss chard, turnip greens, garlic, on and on and on and on. So if you find you're deficient, you just simply go to your book and say, okay, I'm deficient in vitamin K, the coagulant vitamin. I bleed too easy. All right, your blood isn't coagulating as it should. So we go to vitamin K, and it's going to list all the foods that are going to be high in vitamin K. So you just add those into your diet. Nothing scientific about it. It's very simple. And it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. You've got right here in front of you your own health manual. And then for horses, we've got 134 problems horses come up with. What causes them, how to address them, and here's what's important, how to prevent these problems. Along with this in-home study program, we have basically 6 videos. There's 3 in here, 3 in here. This is your equine massage, stretching, and saddle fitting video. And this is the introduction, which will elaborate more on what's in this book and some of my own personal thoughts. Then we have the massage for human. Now that's something you won't find in an equine massage program generally. But my program is for horse and human. All right, so we address the human massage. It's very simple. The acupressure points, the meridian lines, I have a subject to use, and in your book you have the diagrams. It's very easy to follow. And if you only did half as good a job as I would do, it's going to be a killer job. Your children, your wife, your husband, your relatives, your loved ones, they're going to benefit when you can help them, even your trainer. So not only are you learning how to massage your horses, but you're learning how to massage human beings. And so we also have a workout program. There are a lot of different workout programs out there that are good. We're in the age of fitness. I started doing personal training in 1963 in Washington, D.C. In 1960, I started lifting weights. I found that weightlifting and serious resistance training is the best form of exercise, bar none. So in these two books, this is a study manual. This is for those who really like to write notes down. So you'll see you got blank pages on the left side, and on your right, you've got your subject matter. And you can just simply draw a little arrow like I do, draw a little arrow to the blank page and put your note in there. Others who like to highlight, and they're really big into highlight, like my friend Sandy Collier, I'm a highlighter. Well, she'd get us something like this, and she would simply go, highlight, highlight. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So when you request your program, you can either say, I want the book, the binder, or I want the spiral bound. Now I want to read to you a little bit about what's in the program in these 9 chapters. The chapter 1 is equine and human nutrition. This is valuable information. In this chapter, we cover 134 health problems horses face. What addresses, what causes, and how. We address what causes, how to address, and how to prevent. We also cover every vitamin from vitamin A to vitamin U for the human being. In chapter 2, we have massage and stretching techniques for the horses. There's a video in here, your stretching technique, video 2. In hoof care, as the old saying goes, no foot, no horse. This chapter has diagrams, articles, and a better alternative to metal shoes. There is a problem today with metal shoes, as we're finding out. And a lot of people would like to go barefoot, but they're having a problem because of nutritional issues, or the foot of the horse, or they've used these worming formulas. Oh, in fact, we cover a natural worming formula. That is pretty scary today. What's happening with our worming formulas that we're giving our horses. But we have a line on a natural worming formula that will not hurt your horse, and you cannot give it too much. So we cover. What I was going to say about the foot that won't grow right, or it's shaly. This is a result of worming formulas. It affects the nutritional part of what the horse needs. And so it's a pharmaceutical drug, it's a chemical, and those do have problems, they create problems in the body. So we talk about, we've come up with an alternative, an in the middle of the road to a metal shoe or a barefoot horse. Me, I'd rather go barefoot, but in some cases, it's not going to happen. So we cover the horse's foot. Then we have equine performance. You'll become acquainted with fitness and training techniques, common problems, and stress and injury from training and performance. We also have an excellent article in trailering your horse. Davis did a study years ago on trailering your horse, and Equus Magazine took and made an article out of it, and it was very informative. One of the problems I find is when you take your horse to a show, if you travel 2,000 miles or 1,500 miles to a horse show, you need to know what your horse is going through. Davis did that research, and it indicated that horses need some serious attention once these trailer rides are over. And I work with horses usually in the first 4 days of long horse shows. These horses start to come down sick. They start to come down with problems. This is very important, this article on understanding what trailering does to your horse. Because once you get your horse to the show, you can work on your horse, and your horse there's a good chance your horse will not have a problem. The equine performance, we go over exercise for the horse, training techniques for the horse. You'll become with fitness and training techniques, common problem areas of stress, injury from training and performance. You'll also have an excellent article on trailering your horse, which I just mentioned. All right. Chapter 5 of your book. Over the years, I have learned that memorization of anatomy is not important. Knowing all the names, knowing all the functions of the muscles, it's not that critical. All the horse wants to do is get fixed, and the owner will not quiz you on if you know the names of 600 different muscles. There's a little over 600 muscles in the body. That's not important. It's the actual doing the job, fixing the problem. But we put a little coloring section in there where you can, all the muscles, what their functions are, where they're located on the horse in numbers, and then I put even my own little colored horse in there, my version of a paint horse, and just to give you an idea of what you can do with your horse. So that'll give you a little fun to take out your colored pencils or whatever you want to use. Color in, learn, and if you want to, you can memorize. If you don't want to, you don't have to memorize. But it's a great little section to bring out the kid in us when we sat in class and we colored. So the anatomy is in there. Chapter 6 is how music affects both horses and human. Now this is a very interesting, and I elaborate more again on that subject in here. And I'm just going to give you a little, right now, what we call the anapestic beat. The anapestic beat is a beat that's contrary to the body's rhythm. So if you'll do this, okay, follow me. This is your heartbeat. This is a horse's heartbeat. All right, you've got that going, keep going. I'm going to introduce a different beat. We call it the anapestic beat. It's a contrary beat, all right? You ready? Keep going. Okay. Now, if you're like my students, you will go, oh, that's getting harder to do. You might feel a little agitation. Back in the 60s, I saw my first study that was being done on cattle and music and how it affected milk production. And what they found is music that did not have a pronounced beat, the cows loved it, they were content, they gave more milk. Cattle that had a rock and roll type beat or something that was contrary to their heart rhythm, it agitated them and they wanted to get out, and in over a 30-day period, they could see the milk production had decreased when they played that kind of music. You can also see studies done with how music affects water, and when you freeze the water while the music's going, you see the different patterns in there. The beautiful flowing music has a beautiful, graceful pattern. The rock and roll has this just shattered, just angry, hostile type pattern. But we have a lot of water in our bodies. We have a lot of water in our horses' bodies. Now, if you've got a horse that's in a barn and you're playing the wrong kind of music, that's going to set up hostility and agitation. This is a very important subject. My background is in music. I have a very extensive background, in which I do kind of address that in my book here, which can be your book. Okay, so how music affects both horses and humans. Articles. I've got some of my best articles I put in here, which I hadn't even had in school. They were on the internet. I just decided to put them in here. And one of them was on herd-bound horses and how a horse that's stressed out and tied up can't settle down, so they latch on to other horses. But once they've been massaged, they're very content being by themselves, and they're not bound to those other horses. So that's one of the articles, and antibiotics and how it shuts down the body and the different organs in the body. That's a very important subject in your book. Then we got the human massage. And again, that's going to be the second menu of your disc. I have one of my favorite subjects. I show you what to do. It's in the book. I show you how I do it and how you do it. And even if you do half of what I do in a massage, the person you're working on is going to love what you're doing. Can you imagine knocking out a headache after maybe 6 months of having a migraine headache, and you come along and you get rid of that headache? Well, you're going to learn how in this video. What's that worth? I mean, that's worth the program price right there. This program is $600. It's cheap. It's nothing in comparison to what you're going to get out of it. This is a heck of a value. And with 240 pages of lots of really good, important material, I go to what's the heart of every subject. That's what I address in here. What's important, rather what's theory, after going to so many horse shows since 1995 and having horses myself, what's important? What do you really need to know about the horse? It's covered in here, in its subject matter. And then we have fitness conditioning for the rider. I started training lifting weights in 1960, and over the years I've tried all kinds of different programs. And we are in an age today where fitness is off the charts. When you go into YouTube, you're going to see some of the most amazing athletics going on. Well, I've simplified it down to what is the most effective for the shortest period of time. And so I gave you my program. There's a workout program in there, and on your disc here, you're going to have each one of those exercises in that program visually shown to you as to how to do them. That's the program. It is a labor of love, believe me. It's a labor of love. There's so many horses that need to be helped. As I say so many times, horses were meant to be ridden on the ground, not ridden into the ground. And if you're not massaging the horses, the Greeks said it best: the athlete that does not use massage is a common man. Well, you are now, when you order this, my home study program, you have all the bases covered. Again, in these chapters, you got equine and human nutrition, massage and stretching techniques for horses, hoof care, equine performance, anatomy, how music affects horses and human, articles, human massage, and fitness and conditioning for you. Again, that's our 9 chapters. This is Geary Whiting saying, you need this, and you're going to appreciate that you got it. Thank you very much. Take care.